Back in action again, it's Wilton Mill, the 7th round of the Daytona DMAX Championships for 2018, and it's going to be an interesting one for the Inter Enduros. Very close in qualifying. Let's hand over to Spanners Ready, who's got our pole sitter and the man starting just behind him on the grid.
Yeah, obviously we've got two guys from Team Applewood. Team principal Alex Pritchard sort of did a bit of a Freudian slip, and he called you Trundley's wingman. What do you feel about that?
He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say that. Alex, all right, we're going to have words.
But you're starting in 3rd place. Obviously, you've got your teammate up front. In fact, it's a top 3 lockout for your team.
I think it is, yeah. I don't think Chris Alcock had a great run, but hopefully he'll come through and join us so we can make it 4 at the front. But yeah, no, it's good. My qualifying's been my down point all season, and the last 3 rounds I've started to qualify better and have better results. So fingers crossed to go forward again.
Thank you very much, Mike. Let's have a quick word with pole sitter then. Bobby Trundley, a rather gaunt and light-looking Bobby Trundley. You had to add ballast today.
He's a lightweight. Yeah, for the first time. He used to be about 87 kilos now and suddenly dropped down to 83 in 1 month. That's pretty good, isn't it?
But you're on pole again. It's a circuit that seems to suit you. Are you going to win? And does it make a difference having your teammates alongside you?
Don't make a difference having your teammates. It's not a team event, isn't it? We're going to race each other to the bitter end, but obviously not fight early. I'm not going to say if I'm going to win or not because that's a bit cockiness. But all I'm going to say is we'll see how the race plans out. Chris and Mike are very good. I think me and Hackworth might have the edge over Mike, unfortunately, because he is my wingman, like Alex said.
And they're going to fight till the bitter end, Jack.
So we've heard from Trunders, from Coppers, now we're going to hear from Hackers. It's all been very front of the field. Chris, very good pace, only a couple of hundredths of a second behind Bobby, so this is going to be very close.
Yeah, I believe I was on pole for a long stint of that, but to be honest, the balance was a bit soft for me, so I thought I was struggling a little bit, but like you say, Applewood top 3, and I'm a bit heavier today, so maybe that's the difference. In the corners, it's gripping, it's biting more, so hopefully we can have a good race.
This is a very technical circuit. You've got to be very, shall we say, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? A bit more gentle with the karts through some of the tougher parts of the course. It does have a tendency to be a bit of a kart breaker. How are you coping with that?
Yeah, last year I had the problem. It was purely my fault. I just took too much curb on the inside of turn 1 and I broke the sprocket or whatever, so I've just got to try and avoid that. But hopefully those top 3 can have a good scrap, pull away and then see what happens.
So flirting with white lines rather than hacking curbs is the order of the day.
Yeah, I think consistency. I think there might be a lot of traffic, so if we just work together initially, so we'll battle it out, don't worry, we'll battle it out, but might stay a bit consistent initially.
Looking forward to it, buddy. I think it's going to be great. Thanks, Chris. Now, big headline for this one. Obviously, we've got a man who's lost 4 kilos of opposition, but hang on a second. Walking into the arena is Tom Pughe. Tom Pughe, normally in the heavy category, now you're in the inters. Goodness me, have you cut out carbs?
Yeah, water for Coke. It works.
Fantastic. Well, obviously it's working very well because you've already got a first qualifying session and you're in the top 10, so you're obviously not here to make up numbers.
No, I'm not here to make up numbers. I thought I'd have a crack here, see what happens this weekend, and yeah, no, I'm not here. Definitely, I'm never to make up numbers. I'm always to race. So 8th, I wasn't expecting 8th really, top 10. I was thinking when they put up, because I had them stand up on the corner today, put up 15th, 13th or something like that. I thought that's fair enough out of the number on the grid. But then when I come in and see that I was 8th, I thought, well, you know, it's not too bad because yeah, it's different driving with the lack of. I know it sounds mad, but I've lost quite a bit of weight, about 8 kilograms, and it's a bit different. So I had to get used to coming into the corners because you don't have enough grip, mechanical grip out of them. So you've got to back it off a little bit and let the car do the work. So it's a bit of a different driving style, but got used to it. I think I'll improve in the race while I was following these guys.
Interested to see what you can do. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, cheers.
So that's a very interesting conundrum. We've got Tom Pughe, normally a heavy front runner, in the mix as an inter now with the normal brigade, and so many drivers in the mix, all still to play a part. We've got Mitchell, Bork and Ross in the top 6. Into that top 10, Owen Jenmer and Andy Spencer are going to be making progress, and obviously they've all got to try and take on Tom Pughe.
Yeah, I mean, Owen Jenmer, he does this quite a lot. He just sort of dawdles around in qualifying, but come the race, he's going to be there, and I know for a fact Applewood have got a plan for when Jenman eventually catches up.
So is it going to be an Applewood 1, 2, 3? There's about 30 other drivers out there, but we're going to make sure it won't happen. Now this is going to be a very interesting race itself. Here's the grid. Trundley, Hackworth and Coppin from Mitchell in 4th place on the starting grid from Bork and Ross. Ellis, Pughe, they're right up in 8th position in his first Inter race of the season. And then knocking out the top 10, Owen Genman and Andy Spencer. Chris Alcock and Paul Mason, Anthony Kirk and Jason Cole from Sam Bennett and Andy Stobart. Obviously, the Formula 1 break is still going strong for Andy, so he's back out again. Josh Craft and James Wattis, Leo Stolyarov and Ronan McClintock, Seb Cook and Jordan Taylor, Stuart Shearman and Lee Carey. Watch out for Taylor and Carey. They'll be charging their way forward. From Johan Christie, Ryan Welch, John Donnelly and Michael Robinson. 28 of them out there, and they'll all want to go to battle pretty sharpish. Keep an eye on Tom Pughe, running in 62, up from the heavy category into the Inters. Clearly, chocolate is no longer on the agenda, and he is back into a new category. From 8th on the grid, he's one to watch. Out there in front, Bobby Trundley. He's lost 4 kilos coming into this one. No more cheese for him.
Taylor in the red-orange overalls, up in 4th place. That's a great result.
Yeah, really good to see how he's going to go. So let's see how we go racing. It's green straight away, and Trundley up at the front from Hackworth and Mike Coppin as they go through the first 3 couple of corners. No problem at all. The top 4 remain the same. It is still Trundley, Hackworth, Coppin and Curtis Mitchell as they run up towards the first major corner on the circuit for the drivers, turning themselves into a position through Christmas Corner. And there's no argy-bargy. Everybody knitting through nice and easy in the first corner. So it's 1, 2 and 3 for Trunders, Hackers and Coppers as they are there in position. Trundley, Hackworth and Coppin. Then it is Curtis Mitchell in 4th position. There's a great little jostle going on for 5th between Bork, Ross and Ellis. Tom Pughe is in that little gaggle of drivers. In fact, I think he's actually moved himself up into, is that him in 6th position?
Well, you've got Spencer in 8th as well.
Really good start as they work their way through. Spencer is working his way through indeed.
And Genman in 9th already.
Yep, so Genman's made a place. Spencer's made 2. So very good start for them as out of the final turn, it's Trundley from Hackworth and Coppin. No problem at all for the top 3. They want to run out in front. Mitchell in 4th from Bork, Pughe, Ross, Spencer, Genman and Kirk. So a very good start. Ellis is in 11th from Alcock and Cole. Craft, Mason, Stobart 16th from Seb Cook, Leo Stolyarov, Wattis and Bennett rounding out the top 20. But Tom Pughe, having worked his magic up at a 5th place now in front of Bork, Ross and Spencer, who's up to 8th position. Anthony Kirk in 9th. Owen Genman still in the top 10, just ahead of Ellis and Josh Craft, who's moved up to 12th on Chris Alcock.
Sorry, did you say Pugh's in 5th?
He is in 5th. He's doing an absolutely terrific job at the moment, and he's actually dropping Bork and Ross. They are left to battle over 6th place. Andy Spencer's closing in on them as well, so keep an eye on Spencer. He may get a chance here to move up into 6th position as these 2 battle away, Bork and Ross. And it looks to me as though Hackworth is now in front of Bobby Trundley. He has got through and into the lead, so this is a good phase of the race for Chris Hackworth. He is now in front. So Hackworth and Trundley battling away for the lead. They'll swap a few more times before the end of this race, but it's still very early doors, 5.5 minutes through this race. That lead is going to change a few times over the course of this one. But Hackworth is going to lead by example at the front from Bobby Trundley and Mike Coppin. Curtis Mitchell, Tom Pughe down in 6th. A little way further forward now is Simon Ross as Andy Spencer has got his way in a 7th position now. He charges his way forward up past Anthony Kirk and Martin Bork, who has dropped down to 9th in front of Craft. Genman's having a terrible race by his normal standards. He's down to 13th now, behind Chris Alcock and Jason Cole. Here, it is an out-and-out scrap for battling positions, and they absolutely are at loggerheads at the moment, with Trundley on the back of Chris Hackworth once again, and he can eye that skull and crossbones big.
Oh, here comes Trundley up the inside. He's gone for it. Honestly, I thought Hackworth was going to check out, but he's not, absolutely not managed to shake off Bobby Trundley. And Bobby's back. You're right, they are going to swap.
Yep, they're going to swap several times over the course of this race. In fact, Hackworth was almost looking for a move into the boot once again. These two just using each other's slipstream to extend the gap to the rest of the field out front.
Looks
They'll
like there's
swap a couple of times.
I think there's a move for 8th going on there into the boot, Jake.
Yes, there is. That was Craft through on Kirk. So Craft has got through past Anthony Kirk. Martin Bork was hoping to get the move down on the inside as well, but that has not happened yet. So 8th position is now Craft's in front of Kirk and Rourke, with not too far away in the distance Chris Alcock, who sets the fastest lap of the race. Alcock is charging from 11th as he tries to get onto the toe of this battle. Really good run this from Chris Alcock, trying to make up for lost time in qualifying. And now he is getting onto the tail of this quartet of racers as they scrap for 7th place. Rourke up the inside very late on Kirk. That's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. And now Chris Alcock is right on the back of him as he tries to get into 10th place. So some good squabbling.
Just looking at the best lap times, Trundley and Hackworth are sort of getting 52.3, 52.2, whereas the rest of the field, Coppin's fastest lap.
On and off, sorry, off on the grass. That is Croft diving up the inside. Croft was diving on the inside of Spencer, missed his braking point and went straight off onto the grass into the boot. So unfortunately, that is now Josh Croft tumbling away behind Chris Alcock, down to 11th, as Alcock now makes his bid to get past Rourke. So I'm not sure what happened there to Croft. He just looked as though he made his move on the inside of Spencer, saw the gap was open, and then just banzaied on the brakes, missed his braking point completely, and ended up going off onto the grass. A real shame there for Josh Croft, but unfortunately, an inevitable manoeuvre when impatience is getting the better of you. New fastest lap, 52.025 from Chris Hackworth, a side-by-side. That is going to be Alcock up the inside of Rourke into Christmas. Dives for the move, that'll do nicely, and Alcock is into 9th place as a result of that. So that is good progress as far as he's concerned. Hackworth's got a good run on Trundley out of Crook and Oblivion, so we may see Hackworth going for the lead at Christmas this time by. Trundley checks over his shoulder. That's an invitation to make an overtaking move in my book. Through Christmas, out through the flick and up towards Inkermans. Hackworth may make the move here and into Ashby. He'll want to get past as soon as it's humanly possible. I think I'm seeing spots of rain. Spots of rain on my commentary window, so there might be a couple of little bits of spitting. It's not massive, and it's certainly not going to slow up the pace as Hackworth overshoots. He makes a mistake there at Ozier's, and that has dropped him off the back of Trundley for the moment. Big mistake for Hackworth. So Copping definitely being caught rapidly by Mitchell, who was 0.3 of a second faster than him on the last lap. 0.4 of a second faster than him on the last lap was Pughe. So it is a question of when they're going to catch Copping, not if. If it's spitting, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to the track conditions at all. If it starts to get proper drizzly and showery, that's when it will really start to get greasy. But the track doesn't drain very well compared to other circuits. As Alcock is making the move on the inside of Spencer into Christmas. He's made that move beautifully. Spencer's caught him up. Alcock's caught him up, and Spencer's now trying to make a move back. Alcock just keeping the door firmly shut.
I think Spencer would be doing well to just stick to the back of Alcock here and hope that he can catch them up to the squabbling Copping group later on in this race.
Meanwhile, ahead of them, Rourke is actually struggling to lap the traffic. He had to make a door to get through there and through Parker. Alcock's going to be squeezed down the back straight very nearly, and that's given Alcock a massive charge onto the back of Rourke. So, on the back of Ross. So Simon Ross in 6th position. Alcock straight up the inside for 6th place. Goodness me, he is making an effort for it. Ross is trying to keep him at bay, but Alcock is through onto the inside line again out of Crook. Through Fine Lady, up Manuel's Bank. Watch him at Christmas. This could be the move. Alcock trying to get through. Simon Ross determined he's not going to make it stick. And as they go wide out of Christmas, up towards Inkermans, Alcock's going to try and get the switch back up alongside into Ashby. He's going to make the braking late. Ross isn't going to leave a lot of room, and he's through. And Ross puts his hand in the air as if to say, what are you doing? I'm overtaking. There was no problem with that move.
How dare you, sir? But looking up front, Hackworth lost some ground with that mistake. But Bobby Trundley's had to take some big compromises getting through traffic, whereas Hackworth has flown through it relatively easily. Trundley's gone really, really defensive, and interesting hand gestures. I mean, Hackworth got such a better run through Oblivion, but instead of overtaking, he's gestured for him to go, go, go. So you're right, they might still be working as a team. Does Hackworth want to be past Trundley at this point?
Well, the thing is, Hackworth wants to be sat in 2nd place behind Trundley. He doesn't want to be leading this right now.
But Trundley was going defensive through Oblivion, and I think Hackworth is telling him, don't do that.
Yeah, potentially. The thing is, you don't want to get defensive because that's how you get slower. You just want to stick to the racing line. Hackworth is actually in the advantage position here. He's chasing rather than being chased. That's a move from Tom Pughe up past one of the back markers to close him up on Curtis Mitchell as he made his way up towards the boot. Tom Pughe in 5th position, still rapid and absolutely loving this. I'll tell you what, I wonder how many more kilos he could lose. He could end up in the lights at this rate. I'll try and keep an eye on it. Hackworth still over the back of Trundley. Meanwhile, is that Alcock?
Yes, he's up the inside of Pughe.
Oh, that's beautiful into Inkermans. He made that one look so smart. And there's not a lot that Tom Pughe can do about that one now except try and retaliate.
Thing is, Alcock's been making this progress now. You'd put money on him catching up with Mitchell as well.
Well, the thing is, they're wanting Chris Alcock to move forward at Applewood because they could end up with a 1, 2, 3, 4 if they keep going. But Alcock has got a bit of time to make up. How about this squabble further back? Because we've got Ross, Spencer, Rourke, Bork, I should say, Kirk and Kraft all in a line. So it's 5 drivers now battling away for 7th. It's Ross, Spencer, Bork, Kirk and Kraft, and they are nose to tail. This will be a tasty little battle.
If you look at Coppin's body language, he's definitely looking back at Mitchell and not forward towards Hackworth.
Yeah, you don't want to spend too long looking over your shoulder. That's basically an invitation to the guy behind. Come and catch me then. You want to be focusing on going forwards, not backwards. And that's where Coppin is slightly starting to lose some ground and momentum. But now we've got some real problems for the leaders. They're into some big traffic and they are battling for track position as they duke it out on the circuit. We've got some slower carts being dummied around the circuit, and that's probably Trundley being impeded there by one of the slower carts. Hackworth may decide, you know what, Bobby's getting held up. I may need to go for the lead here after all. He works with him up the straight. Up Fine Lady, past Manuel's Bank and into Christmas. He doesn't make the overtake for the lead. He doesn't need to yet. From Hackworth's point of view, sitting in second place is doing him just fine. Bobby can do all the hard work, cut his way through. Well,
Hackworth's got a helmet cam, so I might look like an idiot here, but I think he lifted up the hill, up behind Trundley to make sure Trundley stayed ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, he doesn't need to overtake him at this point. He just needs to sit behind him and wait for Bobby to do all of the best moves to get them through the traffic. Hackworth's keeping things in reserve. As they get into the braking zone for the boot, through the ankle, the left-hander, up to the right, the toe of the boot, through the double apex, dropping down the hill once again and into the heel. Everybody pushing.
Chris Alcock pushing particularly hard. He's going to be on the back of Curtis Mitchell very soon.
So Mitchell is definitely starting to reel in Mike Coppin. He could really do with a bit more luck through the traffic. Who's that that's holding him up? I think that might be Johan Christie. He gets through, no problem at all. But Christie's about to lose a place in the process. Wait a minute, is that Alcock? That is Alcock right behind him. I had no idea Alcock had caught up to Mitchell so dramatically.
I just said it. You need to listen to me more, but here he comes.
I'm too busy watching the leaders, but here comes Alcock.
He's got him up the inside into Christmas. Sorry, Jake, that was the battle I was watching. It's been very exciting. Alcock really is the man on the move. And as you say, he's just gone past him and done the universal symbol of, I got you, don't challenge me anymore, let's go forward. I'm sure that Mitchell's enjoying that.
Let's ride on board with Chris Alcock. He's got the helmet cam on the top of the machine there as he runs through Osiers, trying to get close to that man in front of him, Mike Coppin. They've still got traffic to deal with. I think up in front of them, that is Stuart Shearman on the 26, as they are trying to make up progress. Coppin could get seriously impeded here as they go down the hill, out of the toe of the boot, and up through the final turn. Let's ride on board with Chris Alcock for a lap of this Wilton Mills circuit as Coppin manages to get through into Oblivion, into Crook. Is he going to get impeded? Just the tiniest bit, but he dives through Mark Fine Lady, up Manuel's Bank, up towards Christmas. A really good run this from Chris Alcock as he makes massive progress on Mike Coppin. Then through the flick, the left-hander, up towards Inkermans. Flat on the power through Inkermans and then down to the braking zone for Ashby's. Take it carefully, let the cart drift through. Use a little run-off if you need to. Back on the power, up on the power once more, and then through towards Parker. Drop down, back on the power again. Quick flick, then into into Osiers, sorry. A light spin of curve, but not too much on the exit. Then back down the max straight, up towards the ankle of the boot. Little bit of a nod there towards Coppin. He's gaining big time, Alcock. Then in through the left, the double apex right, down the drop, and into the heel of the boot once again. That is the lap of the Wilton Mills circuit. Very quick, very feisty, and Alcock is gaining big time on Coppin.
If I didn't know any better, you sounded like you were talking about there, Jake, for a moment.
Just the littlest bit.
I tell you what, Hackworth is so much faster through Oblivion, up the hill, through Christmas. He's just toying with Trundley at the moment.
Absolutely. That's the benefit of the aerodynamic draft, of course. He's cutting through the air a lot smarter than Bobby is, because Bobby's cutting that hole through the air out in front, and Hackworth is just following in the slipstream at the moment. He's getting the aerodynamic drag he needs just in pursuit of him. He can gain a lot more momentum. Hackworth, again, not needing to make the overtake for the lead just yet as they go out of the toe of the boot and down into the final turn.
Oh, have a look at Coppin. Have a look at Coppin. He's urging Alcock to help him, but Alcock's down the inside.
Alcock's going to go for the move. He's there. Alcock is through in the third, and he gestures to Coppin. Come on, let's get on with it.
Very optimistic of Coppin to suggest that Alcock should drive along with him and help.
Well, it is Applewood's 1, 2, 3 and 4 now, of course. So the drivers are going to try and work together. This may be exactly what Coppin needs to get away from Curtis Mitchell.
Yeah, but if you look at the lap times, though, Trundley and Hackworth are going around in 52.1s, and nobody else is doing anything close to that. So let's see what Alcock pops up with if he can get himself a bit of clean air.
Well, all he needs to do is give a bit of a motivation to Coppin and say, come on, mate, let's get away from these guys. As the leaders...
Are you saying that Mike Coppin lacks motivation?
Well, he certainly does if he's in no man's land. Now he's got someone to work with, he'll probably start to up the pace. especially knowing that it's Chris Alcock. He'll want to work with him very smartly. Is this going to be Trundley through on McClintock? Surely no problem at all. Well, McClintock's not making it easy for him, and that is probably because he's got two drivers to battle with right behind him, and he will think that these guys are those two coming through. So Hackworth actually finding it really difficult to lap McClintock. That was close. That was far too close for comfort.
No one said it would be easy.
Well, there's a great battle going on further back. That 7th place battle behind Spencer, really starting to march on a pace now. It's 3-4 wide in there with the traffic jam. Goodness me, that was tight. And it's Bork who gets to the front of the queue in front of Josh Kraft. What? Simon Ross, I think, is... Oh, sorry, that is still Ross at the front of it.
I was going to say, are you sure? Because Bork was at the back of that.
Yeah, Bork has got the brighter orange helmet. My apologies. So now he's dealt with Kirk. And then behind them, starting to make a bit of an impression now, is Jason Cole. He's slowly starting to close in on these guys.
So it doesn't look like Spencer, even with on his own, isn't really making much of an impact on Pughe up the road.
No, but that's Kraft past Ross. So Kraft has got past Ross, no trouble at all. Bennett gets through. The leaders are going to get there as well into Christmas. Late braking from Trundley and Hackworth as they go through. Now they've got to deal with Sam Bennett, who's on his own. But they shouldn't have too much of a difficulty. Trundley there on the inside. Bennett not letting him through, and Hackworth's going to get alongside Trundley. He then falls back in position, but Sam Bennett, he's not giving Bobby Trundley much ease to get through here. Now he gets out of the way, but that was a nasty little headache moment there for Trundley and Hackworth in the lead.
I don't think Trundley's under any specific threat right now from Hackworth, but I don't know whether he knows that. Do they have radios, those guys, do you think?
It depends on whether Alex Pritchard switched it on or not, but they're still battling away. Now, the blue flags are going to come out. Trundley dives up the inside. Hackworth goes straight through as well. Goodness me, that was tight. And he gets right onto the tail of Trundley as a result. And I'm afraid, Tim Ellis, you're not going to get the overtake you want. Hackworth's going to make the move for the lead. Here he goes, up the inside. Enough is enough, and he dives into the lead of the race past Trundley.
Was that part of the plan?
I'm not sure it was, you know. I think Hackworth has decided to go for something a little bit different here.
But he did this earlier, and Trundley was able to come right back at him.
Is he trying to wake Bobby Trundley up a little bit? Is he saying, come on, let's keep this race going. You can come back on me now, and we'll get back to plan A.
Bobby Trundley said, flat out, this is not a team event. I'm in it for myself.
So Bobby Trundley on the back of Chris Hackworth now. The positions have changed. Hackworth obviously using that magnificent manoeuvre to lap Seb Cook and blast his way through past Bobby Trundley up to Christmas. One lap later, can Trundley repeat the favour?
Do you know
as
what?
a result of that, look behind them, because you've got Tim Ellis now right on the back of Seb Cook. They'll be battling for position very soon indeed. Big mistake from Sam Bennett. That is not what he wanted down in 15th. Here comes Trundley up the inside into Parker, and he's through. That's a lovely move there indeed from Bobby Trundley. Just one lap after Hackworth took the lead, Trundley back in front. Now, will Hackworth retaliate, or is he going to slot in for the next 10 minutes or so?
Nah, it's on now. It's on. It's game on.
Mitchell obviously getting frustrated. He's like, come on, guys. We're not mucking about anymore. I'm racing. I'm ahead of you. I've got Tom Pughe cruising on behind me. I'm not letting this happen. Trundley and Hackworth still go through. Hackworth's in the lead now. Hackworth, I think they tripped over back markers and Hackworth's gone through past Trundley in turn one. That's how that happened. They came across the line, Trundley in front of Hackworth, but Hackworth has been able to knit his way through the back markers and get back into the lead. So Hackworth is in front. Into the hairpin. No major dramas at the moment. Hackworth still pushing. Trundley might make a move into Parker. He's going to go for it. He's going to leave it a little bit late. They're going to be side by side, and Trundley's still going to keep it on the inside, lit into Osiers. Nice move there from Trundley. It was a hard one to get done, but he is through into the lead again, and now it is war. Here we go. Trundley drifts wide. Hackworth's going to cut back onto the inside line to cut back in. Trundley's going to keep the door firmly shut, and that's beautiful battling between them. This is the race for the victory we've been hoping for. Up towards Oblivion and Crook. Through to the right-hander. Hackworth's going to have another go. They run to the outside line. Trundley ducking down in the car, looking over his shoulder, trying to figure out where Hackworth's going to go. But he's got good pace at the moment.
That is the second time Trundley's got him into that corner in that fashion.
Now he's moving across to defend. Look, he's not going to leave this one to chance. He's not going to give Hackworth another opportunity. So Hackworth is going to have to work very hard indeed. This has turned into a wrestling match at the front between these two. Great rivals and great chums, but Trundley and Hackworth are going to go to task at this one.
Well, they want to be careful. They've only built a 10-second lead over third place, so they don't want to hold each other too much.
And that is going to evaporate if they start duking it out with a few uppercuts, so very good point. Out of the final turn. Hackworth has got a good run off the final corner, and Trundley knows it. Stop looking behind you, Bobby. It's not going to help. Hackworth is right in there behind. Trundley just hanging on in there. He's over his shoulder again. For me, that's an invitation to overtake. Trundley just keeping the card as wide as possible, but Hackworth has still got a few tricks up his sleeve. They come up to Inkermans. Is there going to be the dive to Ashby's? He's having a think about it, but again, Trundley just moves the card a couple of inches across to the inside line, and that's enough to stop Hackworth coming by. Hackworth is just waiting for a moment. Can he get one on Bobby Trundley? Nose to tail, hammer and tongs, spicy as you like down the back straight. Is there going to be a move? He's going to send into the outside line. Trundley's going to have to move to cover. This is a perfect setup. Up the inside, he'll get the undercut, and surely Hackworth's going to get the lead as they go side by side out of the final turn, and Hackworth is in the lead. Trundley trying to get back on the inside. The last lap begins. How has Trundley found the space there? Oh, he's going round the outside.
That is an incredible attempt. Who told him he's allowed to do that?
So now up to Christmas. Trundley's going to try and get the undercut. Hackworth having got the lead. Trundley gets up alongside it for Inkermans. He's going to have to dive for the inside and hope there's space. But protecting the inside line is not going to be an easy way through for Trundley. Drifting out wide. Now he's going to be sent to the right side for Parkers. It's a left-hander. Can he get the undercut back up the inside? There is no undercut because Hackworth is holding the inside line. Trundley trying to get back on him. That needs run wide over the curbs. Trundley may still get a chance into the final couple of turns. Hackworth's got space, but Trundley's got determination, but I think it's done and dusted. Hackworth is going to get this after a brilliant battle for an hour around Wilton Mill. Chris Hackworth is victorious, and it means so much to him. What a win, what a battle.
Bobby Trundley left absolutely nothing on the table there. Did you see him going around the outside of oblivion?
A handshake afterwards, though. What about that for sportsmanship? Frustration from Trundley, but he knows that that is as good a race as he's ever going to have in Daytona DMAX. He shakes hands with Chris Hackworth, the race winner, and Chris Alcock is in there in third place. They're having a mini celebration up at Christmas. We did it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coppin's going to catch up to them as well. What a celebration for the Applewood boys. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
That's got to be worth a donut. Come on, Applewood.
Do you know what? I think that's worth a bit of a couple of shares in Krispy Kreme. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic race. And Chris Hackworth victorious from Bobby Trundley and Chris Alcock. Mike Coppin in fourth from Curtis Mitchell. A great debut in the Inter Enduro for Tom Pughe. Josh Craft beating Andy Spencer. And in the top 10 as well, Simon Ross and Anthony Kirk from Bork, Cole, Ellis, Cook, McClintock, Wattis, Stobart, Sam Bennett, Leo Stolyarov, and Owen Genman. From Mason, Carey, Shearman, Taylor, Christie, Donnelly, Welch and Robinson. No major dramas in that race in terms of flotsam and jetsam around the circuit. No retirements, no crashes, squeaky clean, and a brilliant race to the finish. It's Chris Alcock, Bobby Trundley and Chris Hackworth, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that was a cue. Chris Alcock. I'll tell you what, mate, that was one heck of a fight back. I mean, it was a long way back, but you managed to pull it off pretty quick.
I think I should have bacon and eggs for breakfast more often, I reckon. Qualifying was rubbish, but late bloomer, I guess.
So there were some good overtaking moves in the early stages. You just felt confident. I guess you just had your Weetabix this morning.
Yeah, I wish it was that simple. I think I was, what, 12th, 11th off the grid. Lost a couple off the start where the tyres were all cold. Once it got up to temperature, I thought, right, this is all right. And I had Alex on the radio, captain of Applewood, obviously. He said, you can do this if you keep that pace up. And I was banging in fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. And it helped with these two having a fight. But all that ended up happening was I was watching a grandstand finale from them two. It was a great race by them two. It's just a shame I couldn't get there at the start, really.
There's always a chance to get there for the 8th round of the championship next month, though, so keep it up and we'll see you on the podium again, hopefully.
Mate, we've got the heats this afternoon. I'm winning that.
Oh, there you go then. There you go. Pushing it on. Thank you very much, Chris.
Cheers, thank you.
Excellent.
Well, I've got second place here, Bobby Trundley, also of Applewood. They're talking about team orders there. How much were you told to hold off at the beginning?
Wasn't told to hold off anything. I was told to get away with Chris.
That was me being patient.
Actually, but you two just wait.
There was three of us, but you were too slow, so I moved it
Oh!
Some really good moves between you two guys. So a hard, like, legitimate fight for the lead. That must have been amazing.
Oh, it was brilliant. Me and Chris were just dicing pretty much. We at the start we decided to pull away, and we just had a great race throughout. He was quicker than me down the straights, but I was quicker through the corners. That's how I managed to get moved down into turn 7 about 3 times nearly, even though the last one was a little bit questionable. But it was just a fantastic race. I got scored by the master, because Chris is the master. Come on, he's a 11, 12-time champion in this. Thanks.
Sorry. Well, one last question for you, Bobby. You tried to go on the outside, coming out of Oblivion. Did you think for a second that might have worked? Because it was an amazing attempt.
I'm full of surprises, am I? That's the main thing. Always go for it.
Thank you very much, Bobby Trundley, second place.
Well, it was a brave move. It couldn't quite defeat this man today, Chris Hackworth, looking for that umpteenth title in 2018, and it looks like with performances like that, you might just get there this time.
No, I think I've had a bit too much bad luck this year to get the championship, but I just want to have some good racing. And like I say, at the beginning, me and Bobby managed to pull away. I think Mike Coppin at the end was a third at that time. And then back markers was interesting, but to get the win in the end, yeah, I'm happy with that. I can't do better than that.
It seems that even after all these titles and all these race victories, the motivation is still sky high. You still want to keep on delivering and giving it your best.
I just want to have a good race. I just want to have a good race. I just want to have a good race. If that was for last place, I've enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So I just want to have a good race.
Well, go and get your race helmet back before they demoralise it. Thank you very much indeed. I tell you what, the banter down here is fantastic.
He says he'd have enjoyed it just as much if it was last place. I don't believe him.
No, I don't believe him either. It's been great racing in Daytona DMAX in the Inter Enduros. There's more great racing to come. If you want to be on the grid, daytonamax.co.uk, book your place and try and stay away from this guy.